She stood in the middle of the road in broad daylight, called a tow truck and tried to have it removed. A school bus with kids still inside watching through the windows. Some of them were crying. The driver was frozen, not sure if this was a joke or some kind of emergency. But she wasn't joking. Karen never jokes. She was yelling about unauthorized commercial vehicles, waving her HOA badge like it gave her more power than the law, and insisting the bus had no right to drive through her neighborhood. I was standing right there. My son was gripping my hand so tight, his knuckles were white. The neighbors? Stunned. Nobody moved. Because no one, not even the police, not even the tow truck driver, could believe she was serious. But she was. And if you think that's where this story begins, it's not. That was the end of a long, crazy build-up. It all really started a few weeks earlier when my kids wore the wrong clothes to school. And Karen decided that was reason enough to start a war. Before we go any further, if you enjoy these real stories about HOA chaos and neighborhood drama, I'd really appreciate it if you gave this video a like and hit that subscribe button. We post new videos like this every single day, and your support helps more than you could imagine. And let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We always enjoy seeing where our viewers are, and just how far these wild HOA stories have traveled across the country. It was supposed to be a fresh start. The last year had been rough. A job change, some hard personal family stuff I won't get into, but it took a toll. Still, even in the middle of chaos, life has a way of offering a little light. My new job gave me more flexibility, and with it came a chance to finally do something I'd been dreaming about for years. Move to a quiet, small town. I found a cozy little house in a place called Silver Pines. Not big but warm. Big trees out front. A school just a few blocks away. The kind of neighborhood where you imagine grilling on weekends and borrowing sugar from next door. And best of all, my kids would be with me full-time now. That alone made everything worth it. Emma and Max were nervous that first morning. First day at a new school, new town, new everything. Emma took way too long picking out her earrings. Max insisted on wearing a t-shirt with a velociraptor that said, "I eat homework," in blood-drip font. I let him. I wasn't going to fight that battle on day one. We'd already ordered their official school uniforms, custom fit, nice material, cost me more than I'd like to admit. But the company needed a week to tailor everything. I'd emailed the school principal who replied kindly, "No problem at all. Let them wear casual clothes for now." So that's what we did. I ironed their jeans. Gave Emma a side braid. Told Max twice not to pack Pop-Tarts in his backpack. We stepped outside and for the first time in months I felt like maybe, just maybe, we were okay. We walked together down our new street. Emma was asking if it was too late to switch from band to drama club. Max made up a game where every red car was worth 5 points and every blue one meant you had to sing the chorus of any song you heard last. I sang Journey badly. Emma pretended not to know us. It was a good morning. One of the first good ones in a very long time. And then she appeared. Blonde bob. Oversized sunglasses. Windbreaker zipped up even though it was 73 degrees out. Clip-on name badge that said, HOA President, in all caps, like she'd printed it herself and laminated it at Staples. She stepped out from behind a perfectly trimmed hedge like she'd been hiding there, waiting for her cue. No smile. No, welcome to the neighborhood. Just a flat look and a stiff nod. Excuse me. Are you the new residents on Chestnut Drive? I paused. Yeah. Just moved in this weekend. She pointed at Emma's shoes like they were contraband. Those are not approved school uniform shoes. I almost laughed. I thought maybe this was the neighborhood's way of hazing the newcomers. I smiled. Oh, yeah, we've got the uniforms on order. Should arrive next week. The school said it was fine in the meantime. She didn't blink. Didn't even shift her weight. They may have told you that. But here in Silver Pines we maintain a certain standard. Children must be in proper attire while on public walkways en route to academic institutions. I stared at her. Max broke the silence. Dad, what does she mean? Emma leaned closer and whispered, Is she, like the sidewalk police? She's something, I muttered. Karen pulled out a tiny notepad from her fanny pack. Yes, she had a fanny pack, and started scribbling with the urgency of someone drafting a declaration of war. I'll be documenting this as a first notice, she said. A notice for what, exactly? I asked, genuinely curious. She didn't even look up. Unauthorized attire while en route to public education within HOA jurisdiction. It sounded like she made it up on the spot. Emma squinted. Wait, what? Karen snapped the notebook shut. We expect this to be resolved by Monday. And do remind your children not to walk across the corner lot on Birch and 7th. It causes unnecessary wear to the lawn. They're children, I said, more to myself than to her. She adjusted her sunglasses like she'd just won the exchange and turned to vanish back into the hedges. I watched her walk, stiff and proud, like she'd just defended the borders of Rome. Emma blinked. Was that normal here? I hope not. I figured that would be the end of it. A weird moment. A story to laugh about later over dinner. Just some nosy lady who took her volunteer job too seriously. I was wrong. So very wrong. Part of me hoped it was a one-time thing. Maybe Karen was just having a bad day. Maybe her HOA badge was a little too tight. Maybe she'd gotten yelled at by her own HOA president years ago and now felt the need to pass the trauma forward. Whatever the reason, I figured if I smiled, kept my head down, and let her run her little clipboard empire, she'd lose interest. Spoiler, she did not. The next morning, Emma came home quiet. That's how I knew something was off. Normally she burst through the door ranting about cafeteria drama and which kid tried to drink chocolate milk through a straw up their nose. But this time she just walked in and said, "Can we move again?" I put down my coffee. "What happened?" She shrugged. "There was this car parked near the mailbox row. Some lady was in it taking pictures of us. Like actually holding up her phone and clicking. Max saw her too." Max, sitting on the floor with his shoes off, looked up and nodded. It was the lady from the sidewalk. The gnome lady. I checked our doorbell cam footage that evening. There it was, Karen's silver SUV parked across from the mailboxes. The timestamp was 7:46 a.m. That was exactly when my kids would have been walking to school. And there she was in the driver's seat, holding up her phone like she was doing a stakeout for a crime documentary. I took a screenshot. I sent an email to the HOA contact listed on the welcome brochure, attached the photo and politely asked, "Is it appropriate for HOA leadership to photograph minors walking to school?" I got a reply 4 hours later. A short one. As the sidewalk is a public space, observation and documentation of potential HOA violations is within standard practice. Thank you for your concern. That was it. No concern for safety. No mention of boundaries. Not even a "we'll look into it." HOA speak for, Karen can do whatever she wants. The next morning, a notice was taped to our front door. Violation notice number 002. Improper bicycle storage. Children's bicycles were left within 18 inches of the curb line. As per Section 9C of the Silver Pines Code of Community Aesthetics, all personal vehicles must be stored no closer than 24 inches from the curb. I checked the photo they attached. Max's bike was generously 20 inches from the curb. It was also neatly parked. I should have been proud. Then later that day, another notice arrived in our mailbox. Violation notice number 003, unapproved lawn decor. Whirligig rainbow windmill, installed in front flower bed has not been approved by the HOA Visual Standards Committee. Please remove immediately or face a fine. They meant Max's rainbow windmill. The one he got for his birthday. The one he proudly stuck next to the roses so it would protect the bees. He cried when I pulled it out. "I don't get it," he said. "Is she mad at us? What did we do?" Emma, arms crossed, said, "She just hates color. Her soul is beige." I couldn't argue with that. That week, I decided to attend my first HOA meeting. It was held in the community center, a small, overly air-conditioned room with folding chairs, lemon water, and one large banner reading, "Silver Pines, where order meets beauty." The place was packed. I didn't see a single face under 45. Most people were already seated, flipping through printouts like they were studying for the SATs. At the front table, Karen. Nameplate, gavel, water bottle with a monogrammed K. When it came time for public concerns, I stood up, cleared my throat. "I'm the new resident on Chestnut Drive. I wanted to bring up a couple things. First, I've received 3 violation notices in less than a week. 2 of them were about my kids, who are still waiting on their school uniforms to arrive, and one was about my son's toy windmill in our flower bed. And second, someone's been photographing my children while they walk to school." That got a few murmurs. Karen leaned into her mic. "Mr. Lanes, all HOA actions are in alignment with our charter. If you're concerned about your compliance, I recommend reviewing the handbook. As for the photographs, any images taken in public spaces are legally permissible under state code." I looked around the room. Nobody met my eyes. One man coughed. A woman in pearls avoided my gaze entirely. "I just want to make sure we're protecting kids," I said. "Not intimidating them over shoes and wind toys." Karen offered a tight-lipped smile. "We all want what's best for the neighborhood." The meeting moved on. No one said anything else. Later that night I found another envelope taped to our door. This one wasn't a violation notice. Just a printed quote. The strength of a community is measured by its willingness to follow rules. Anonymous. Emma found it before I did. Is this supposed to scare us? She asked. I didn't answer. I just folded it, slid it into the kitchen drawer and said, "We're not moving. Not again." By this point, I knew Karen wasn't going to stop. She wasn't just enforcing rules, she was trying to break us down. And I wasn't going to let that happen. I already had a doorbell cam. That's how I caught her sitting in her SUV photographing my kids. But now it was time to step it up. I went online, ordered 2 more cameras and spent my Saturday morning installing them. One pointed at the yard. The other aimed straight across the street. I didn't have to wait long. That very night, less than 12 hours after the cameras went live, I caught her. The footage showed her walking up to our property line at 6:37 a.m., holding a measuring tape in one hand, her phone in the other. She squatted next to our bushes, stretched the tape across the lawn and took a photo. Then she stepped back, stared at our flower bed for a full 30 seconds, and, I swear I'm not making this up, she shook her head in disappointment, like the roses had personally offended her. She walked away muttering something. The mic picked up. Unbelievable. No pride. No standards. I posted the video in the Silver Pines community Facebook group with a simple caption. Is this normal HOA behavior? It exploded. Within hours there were dozens of comments. She did the same thing to my begonias last spring. Last month she told my teenage son he needed a haircut, more in line with the aesthetic. My dog barked once and I got a $75 noise violation. Someone made a meme. Someone else said they'd been fined for improper window curtain color. The dam had broken. People were angry, and not just at Karen. At themselves. For putting up with her for so long. But it didn't end there. The next afternoon I was in the yard helping Max plant some new flowers. Sunflowers this time, his favorite, when I heard her voice. Enjoying your little show, Mr. Lanes? I looked up. She was standing across the lawn, just inside the HOA's imaginary no-smile zone. I'm sorry? I said, straightening up. Don't play dumb, she snapped. Your little online stunt. Making me look like some kind of criminal. I stayed calm. You're the one trespassing with a measuring tape, Karen. Mrs. Kincaid, she corrected. Then she stepped forward. Her voice lowered. You think those people in that group care about you? They're just as tired of you as they are of me. But I actually do something around here. I raised an eyebrow. Like measuring my grass? She leaned in. Too close. Her breath smelled like old mints and frustration. People like you don't belong in neighborhoods like this. I didn't say anything. Because for the first time, I saw it. Not just the control. Not just the rules. The fear. She was losing her grip and she knew it. And nothing scared her more than not being in charge. She turned and walked away. That night, I received another envelope. This time it wasn't from the HOA. It was handwritten, no return address. Inside was a printed map of the neighborhood with my house circled in red ink. No note. No message. Just the circle. I didn't sleep well. The next morning I took the map to a lawyer. I told him everything, the photos, the notices, the quote on my door, the latest envelope. He leaned back in his chair and nodded slowly. You've got a textbook harassment case. Document everything. Keep printing your footage. Don't provoke her, but don't back down either. If she crosses one more line, we can take it further. I left with a folder labeled Case File, Kincaid. I wasn't smiling. Later that week I opened our mailbox and found the latest HOA newsletter. Front page headline, Proposal to Limit Non-Resident Vehicles in Silver Pines. Below it, to preserve the character of our community, the board will vote on a motion to prohibit entry of non-residential commercial transportation. This includes delivery vans, lawn care trucks, and school buses. School buses. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about flowers or bikes anymore. Karen was targeting the school bus. The same one my kids had just started riding last week. The newsletter had a date, board vote scheduled for Monday night. I sat on the porch, newsletter trembling in my hand. Max came out holding a popsicle. Can I have 2? I nodded. I wasn't listening. I was already planning. The vote passed. Barely. I went to the HOA meeting just to see if anyone would stand up, say it was ridiculous. That blocking school buses was too far, even for Silver Pines. But most people didn't even show up. The few who did just nodded along as Karen presented her concerns about noise, emissions, and the long-term damage to our private pavement. She used words like environmental harmony and property integrity. I used words like, are you kidding me? And their children. Didn't matter. The motion passed 4-3. School buses were now officially considered unauthorized commercial vehicles. The next morning I got up early. Something in my gut told me to watch. Max and Emma sat on the porch steps, swinging their feet, backpacks ready. The sun was just coming up. Birds were chirping. The street was quiet. And then Karen stepped out of her house. She wasn't dressed like usual. No pastel windbreaker. No sunglasses. This time she wore a bright orange safety vest and held a reflective paddle that said, "Stop," on one side. I watched her walk, slowly like she wanted everyone to see, straight into the middle of the road. Right where the bus usually stopped. She stood there. Arms crossed. Like a one-woman checkpoint. The bus came into view, turning the corner like it had every day for the past week. The driver slowed down when he saw her. Rolled down his window. Karen didn't move. She just pointed at the paddle. Then pointed at the bus. I ran down the driveway. Karen moved. Now. This is private property, she snapped. And that vehicle is no longer allowed under our community code. There are kids on that bus. Then maybe their parents should walk them. The bus driver leaned out. Sir, what should I do? I looked at the kids inside. Some were pressing their faces against the glass. One little girl looked like she was about to cry. Just wait, I said. Please. Just give me a second. Karen pulled out her phone. I've already contacted towing. The bus is in violation. I blinked. You're trying to tow a school bus? Are you insane? It's blocking the road, she said calmly. That makes it illegally parked. It stopped because you're in the road. She didn't flinch. The tow truck arrived 3 minutes later. 3 minutes. She'd scheduled it ahead of time. The driver stepped out looking confused. I thought I was picking up a delivery van, he said. Karen marched over. This is the vehicle. Unauthorized. Blocking HOA-controlled space. The driver looked at me. She's serious? Oh, she's serious, I said. But she's also about to be arrested. I pulled out my phone and called 911. The operator picked up immediately. I need to report a woman obstructing a school bus and calling for it to be towed, while kids are inside. The operator paused. Can you repeat that? I know how it sounds, I said. But I've got video. And witnesses. Please send someone before this gets worse. The tow truck driver was already backing away. I'm not touching a school bus. No way. Karen turned to him. You're under contract. I don't tow kids, he said, climbing back into his cab. She looked around. Realized the neighbors were gathering. Phones were out. Cameras rolling. Then came the sirens. 2 police cruisers pulled up. Officers stepped out, approached slowly, trying to piece together the madness unfolding in front of them. What's going on here? One asked. I pointed. This woman is blocking a school bus. Refusing to move. She called a tow truck. The kids are trapped inside. The officer turned to Karen. Ma'am, is that true? She lifted her chin. I'm enforcing our local regulations. By standing in front of a school bus? This is private property. The vehicle is not permitted. State law says otherwise, the officer said flatly. And right now, you're in violation of traffic obstruction and endangering minors. Karen's face twitched. You can't talk to me like that. I'm the HOA president. The officer didn't blink. And I'm a law enforcement officer. Move. No. That one word. Just one syllable. But it was enough. Ma'am, he said. This is your final warning. She pointed at him and said, Do you know who I am? Then, and I'm still not sure why she did this, she poked him. Right in the chest. He took one step back. Put your hands behind your back. What? You're under arrest for obstruction and assault. Gasp. Someone actually dropped their phone. Karen went from smug to stunned in 2 seconds flat. This is outrageous. You can't arrest me. I was protecting the neighborhood. You can tell that to the judge, the officer said as he cuffed her. As they walked her to the cruiser, she yelled over her shoulder. You'll all regret this. You'll be sorry when the property values drop. The kids on the bus were quiet. Some were scared. Emma had her hands over Max's ears. Then the driver opened the doors. Sorry for the delay, folks. Let's get you to school. Max turned to me and said quietly, Dad, that was kinda awesome. And as the bus pulled away and the cruiser turned the corner, I had one thought. May every Karen get exactly what she deserves. If you think so too, give this video a like and subscribe for more real stories like this.